what is up, guys, and welcome back to the Locked In with Drew and Wes podcast. We have a special guest today. Not so special, actually, but Bret is joining the podcast. He's got a lot of things to talk about regarding the Wings, especially. That is the first thing on the sheet. Mm-hmm. We're going to give the floor to Bret, and we're going to let this man cook. So, Bret, go ahead. Let's talk about not the Pistons, the Red Wings. Okay, guys, real quick, I'm jumping on this to say that this podcast was recorded a week ago. It took me a little bit of time to get to the editing. I finally was able to edit it up, and now it's up. But with that being said, some of the stuff might be a little bit off and a little bit more to that time frame. Like statistics might not be exact, and, we were talking about the rough patch with the Wings. So with that being said, Bret still has a lot of good Wings talk and a lot of good talk overall for all three of us. And yeah, let's jump right back into it.
Okay, well, a little bit background. I have watched the Red Wings pretty much all my life. I've gone to games my entire life. I've played hockey pretty much my entire life. Wes can attest to that.
Yep.
I've pretty much tried to watch every single game this year. Obviously, I missed a few. I'm not perfect, blah, blah, blah. But I've watched them the past 6-7 years to where they've been arguably the worst team in the league. And, this year has been a real increase in hopes for me. Just from the, especially January. They were so good. And this little rough stretch has been rough. I mean, when you look at it, our defense is just terrible. I mean, we are ranked 23rd in goals against. And in total, that's 232 goals against. And that is just not what you want. Now, yes, we are one of the highest scoring teams in the league. But you don't want to rely only on offense. You can say that about every single sport, about every single team. If you rely on one side of the ball, one side of the puck, one side of the whatever, it is not going to work. It is just not. I mean,
right.
it's proven. I mean, look at the Lions 2 years ago.
They
had top 5 offense, but their defense was ranked 26th, and they didn't make the playoffs. It's just kind of proven. I mean,
even when they did, they didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, look at the Mavericks on Dallas. They have Luka Doncic. I'm terrible.
Luka Doncic
and Kyrie Irving.
You're gonna hear him butcher about every name.
Except Red Wings players.
All the Russian players. Go ahead.
Yeah. But look at that offense. You have Kyrie Irving and Luka in the backcourt. That's insane duo. But then their defense is just kind of trash.
Yeah, they have no good bigs.
So it's kind of rough to see, and especially this last stretch, our offense hasn't been there, and we've been getting kind of fucking outworked, outplayed, and kind of out-strategized in these past 7 games. Now, so today is Saturday. The Red Wings played the Sabres. The Red Wings won 4-1, and their offense was back. They were pushing the puck. They were playing gritty. They were checking hard. They were forward checking hard. They were holding the zone. They were doing everything we were seeing them do before this losing streak. So it kind of shows that if our offense isn't playing well, we're not going to be winning games. And that's kind of was proven in December when we were going, we went 15 wins and 15 losses. We just could not figure out the offense, And it's kind of proven that we kind of need offense to win. I mean, we're 7th in ranked offense by goals wise and overall, and that is just something unheard of in Detroit because we haven't had multiple 30+ goal scorers in years. Like last year, we were close with like Lucas Raymond and your Michael Rasmussen and stuff like that. But this year we have 11 guys with double-digit goals, and we have Debrincat, Larkin, Razor. Raymond is not at 30 goals yet, but he's around that mark. Debrincat and Larkin, they're already.
Yep.
Patrick Kane, point per game. Michael Rasmussen. Michael Rasmussen has always been one of them players to where after the All-Star break, that's when he turns it on. And it annoys me sometimes because I want to see it all season because I think he can help the team a lot, especially in the second half of the year. But when he's not there, and you can visibly tell on the team. So it's a great thing to see the offense. I don't know what you guys think about it, but it's just awesome to see from comparing it to the past 6 or 7 years.
You had something about we have to dump the puck a lot. on your paper there.
Yeah,
and that just doesn't result in us getting a lot of chances to get goals.
That's what. So these last 7 games, because we haven't been able to transition out of our zone, we've been getting stopped at a lot of the blue line, and for some reason we kept trying to throw it up the boards, up the sides to like our wingers and our we don't have very big wingers. We don't, and none of our there's only like 2 or 3 wingers I would say that are good on the boards that can really hold their own, and so it's kind of. It was one of them things to where I was questioning it very hard because especially the veteran players, I was hoping to see a little bit change up. You're not throwing up the boards; it's not working. Yeah. Change it up. Hockey's about adapting to what's going on, adapting to what's not working. If you're shooting on a goalie and just shooting straight at him ain't working, you're not hitting shots. You start passing the puck more, get the goalie to move, get him out of position, and guess what? You'll probably score on him. That's just the way hockey's played.
Right.
There's so much adaptability to it to where, and because it's such a skilled game, you have your skating, you have your puck handling, you have your physicality. You can
game
fight.
Sense.
Yeah, you can fight somebody and only get a 2-minute penalty for it. It's one. That's why it's honestly one of my favorite games to watch overall, and it's just kind of to see the Red Wings players in this little losing streak not adapting. It was kind of weird, and people were calling out Derek Lalonde, the head coach, and I was sitting there like, yes, you could say that, but also look at what he's done so far in only his 2nd season as head coach.
Right.
We are pushing playoffs, which is unheard of for the past couple of years. We are ranked 7th overall in offense. We are ranked 11th in power play. We are ranked 16th in penalty kill, where in the previous years we were ranked 28th in penalty kill and 27th in power play.
Below league averages.
Yeah, we were statistically one of the worst teams in positive or negative man things, and so it was just so I was sitting there like, okay, yes, but that's also on the players because you have a player like Patrick Kane, 3-time Stanley Cup champion, 4th overall in points in American players, Hall of Fame career. You have Ben Sherratt. Ben Sherratt has had many years and he's made playoff runs. Yeah. He knows Jeff Petrie. He's a veteran player. You might not like him. I don't like him, but he's a veteran player. You have your David Bret, Stanley Cup winner. It's Fabry, Stanley Cup winner. You have these Stanley Cup winning players, so it's also on the leadership of the team to say to Lalonde, hey, this ain't working.
Right.
Can we work on this a little bit more in practice? Because it's all about working as a team. Yes, it's on the coach to come up with strategies. Yes, but it's also on the players to say, if this ain't working, you gotta let him know because he might not be seeing what you're seeing on the ice. It's how it goes.
Yeah, I love that point of we can't break out because I know I've experienced it in hockey and you've experienced it in hockey. If you can't break out of your zone and every time you got to go down the ice and you finally get out, you have to either ice it or you have to dump it deep and then get a change. Yeah. You're not doing anything in the offensive zone. They're getting the puck back. They're regrouping. Mm-hmm. They have no pressure on them. They get to come right back in your defensive zone, and it just cycles right back again.
Yeah. And I also think something else that's added to the little slump we've had is Alex Debrincat and Patrick Kane not finding it on the score sheet. The last time Debrincat scored was in the Washington Capitals game, the last time before today that the Red Wings won. He scored 1 goal. Patrick Kane only scored 1 goal in this stretch, and he only had 2 assists in that. Debrincat had only 1 point in that 7-game stretch. And that's just not good.
That's one of our star players. You need production. Yeah. You need to get on the score sheets.
Yeah. We went and got him from the Iowa Senators because we knew we need a score. And Al Debrincat, he can shoot. He can shoot. Yeah. It's proven so far this year. And so and every player's allowed to go through a slump. Mm-hmm. Not everybody's gonna be Connor McDavid.
But
you can't ask for that.
Not all do it at the same time.
Yeah. And not having Dylan Larkin, the leadership of the team, that plays a big role. You can say whatever you want about Larkin, about his play, about his contract, about whatever, but he's that leadership. He is that Yzerman role. That's what Yzerman sees in him. He's not. I'm not saying he is Yzerman. I'm not saying he's going to ever add up to Yzerman. I'm not saying that. I don't believe that. But when you're looking at this team, there's a reason he was chosen as captain.
Yes.
There's a reason why he's been our best player throughout all these years on these terrible fucking teams. Like, there's a reason why we have chosen him to lead this team.
Right.
So when he's gone, it hurts the team. And it's on Ben Sherratt, David Perron, Andrew Kopp, the alternates, the assistants, to step up and take over that role and lead the team. And I just haven't seen that.
Yeah.
Right.
It's almost like the Pistons and, like, we got Cade. Like, yes, we're going through this rough stretch, but Cade looks like that guy. Everything you see out of Cade is he can do this, but you need to build that team around him. Yeah. You need shooting around him, like we did in the trade deadline. Like, you need goal scorers around Larkin. You need playmakers around Larkin. Mm-hmm. You just need guys that can fill up those roles. You can't just have one guy and that you expect to be your whole team. That's not how it goes. Not everybody's going to be a Luka Doncic or an Yzerman type of player. And Yzerman had a bunch of players around him. We had stacked teams with Yzerman.
Yeah.
That's why we won championships.
Yeah. Well, there's always this saying. Yzerman, before the Stanley Cup run playoffs, those 3 previous years, he was averaging 70 points, which in the 90s was a lot. And then those Stanley Cup years, he was only averaging 50 points a year. And you want to know why? Because he was the captain. He was the leader. Yeah. He knew it was not his job to score, not his job to assist. Yes, when he scored and assisted, it helped. But his job was to make sure, hey, that guy's not doing well. Help him out.
Right.
We're not doing this right. Tell Scotty Bowman. You know, he was there to kind of be that gap between the coaches and the players. You know, that's what a captain does. If the players feel like the coaches aren't seeing something or aren't doing right, it's on the captain and the alternates to tell that to the coach.
Yeah.
And that's what Dylan Larkin does. Mm-hmm. You know, that Dylan Larkin is the number 1 center on the team for a reason. He's a captain for the reason, and there's a reason why Derek Lalonde trusts him so much. That's just facts.
Right. And, you know, I have kind of started to get more into hockey as the years have gone on. I never really was super into it and everything like that. But these guys definitely gravitated me towards the sport a little bit more. But the thing is I've just seeing how big of an impact, and just like looking at the stats. I mean, like you said, Dylan Larkin leaving, comparing to when he's on the games he's there, games he's not. The team is a fucking different team. Like it's just an entirely different team on the ice, and it's just I know that the play on the ice overall has not been good through this losing streak, but it's hard to not chalk up to, the biggest reason is, and hopefully the biggest fix is when Larkin returns, it's plug and play, and we're back to where we were before the losing streak.
Well, and I also think it speaks to our center depth. When I love JT Compher, I think he was a great pickup in the offseason. Andrew Kopp, when we first got him, I was so excited because I watched him playing for the Rangers. And he was scoring. He was winning faceoffs. He was penalty kill. I was like, that's what we need. That's
big guy too.
Yeah, we've been missing that second line center.
Yeah.
And now he's just come to the Red Wings, and he looks like he's 10 years older. You know, it's and you know, and he finally got 10+ goals. But you know, there was a stretch to where he hadn't scored a goal in like 25 games.
Yeah, that's rough.
And he gets paid like $4.75 million
from your center, dude. You need your center in that slot position. You need your center taking shots all the time and getting goals.
Well, and he needs to be the playmaker. You know, he needs to be the guy that's driving the puck. You know, and so and he wasn't winning faceoffs. You know, So it's I was sitting there watching and Compher, Compher, historically, he played for the Avalanche, and he was always either a second or third line center. So I think we're still missing that second or third line center because Kopp is just not doing it for me. It's and Joe Veleno, the fourth line center, he's a fourth line center. He is a two-way hockey player. He is there for defensive purposes only. He is there to hit a check on their top players. He is there to prevent the top line from the opposing team to score. That is his job. Yes, when he scores, when he gets an assist, it helps. But he's a role player. He's not the star. There's the reason why you hear those terms spoken. Mm-hmm. So I think we're missing that second and third line center. Because really your second and third line center should be able to swap places whenever they want. And then if you say your first line center gets hurt, they should be able to take over that role and actually be enhanced in their own play for a couple games here and there.
Yeah.
And I think we're just missing that. Now, am I going to bitch about our productivity on the offensive side? No, I really think the defensemen pairings and overall defenseman players are just not it. I mean, I think personally, right now, only half of our defensemen should be on the team.
Wow.
I think.
Well, maybe, when this year's all done and whatever happens with this year, those are positions that we look to move on.
Well, the issue is, Wes, is that the only defenseman that is on contract year is Shane Gostisbehere.
Right, but I mean, you can look for trades and better players for better fit, but it's just you never know what's going to happen.
Yes, but in hockey, it's harder. It's hard to make a trade because like Ben Stroud and Jeff Petrie have bigger contracts. Justin Hall has a bigger contract. The salary cap is actually more of a factor in hockey because it's so much smaller compared to other leagues.
Oh yeah.
So it's kind of hard to do because say you want to trade Ben Sherrod to whichever team, then you kind of have to structure it in a way. You almost a lot of the time you have to find like a San Jose Sharks to take 25% of the salary and give him a draft pick. And Yzerman doesn't like doing that. He likes his draft picks, and it's understandable why, because you look at that Grand Rapids Griffins teams, they're on fire. You got your Bergen, you got your Evanson, you got your Lombardi, you got your Mazer.
Well, maybe those guys get a chance,
Yes, but the issue is Evanson is a NHL ready defenseman. I believe in that fully. I think he should have got a spot this year. I'm still kind of pissed off about it.
I know you've talked a lot about our young guys on that Griffins team, and you're this guy's coming up. This guy's coming up.
You guys have known in previous years. I have been waiting and pleading. I was hoping we were going to have like 5 rookies on the team this year. Yeah, I was hoping Evanson, Johansson, we're going to be on the defensive side. I was hoping Soderblom, Marco Kasper, Jonathan Berggren, we're going to be on the forward side. I was really hoping. Now, the forward signings have been really good, so I've been happy with those.
Yeah.
The fucking defenseman signings, Jesus Christ, it's rough. I mean, to get Peachy, we traded Gustav Lindstrom and a 4th round pick. That's nothing for Jeff Petrie.
Yeah.
But Jeff Petry's playing like ass, so maybe I'm on Gustav Lindstrom back. I don't know. And then Ben Sherratt.
Aren't they paired together?
Yes.
Sherrod and Petrie. And haven't you said that their pairing together is just not a good pairing either?
No, they both have minus plus minuses. Jake Wallman, Morris Seider, and Oli Mata are my 3 defensemen that I want to see back next year for on the Red Wings. Could I see them re-signing Shane Gostisbehere because his power play is just so good. Now, does he scare me 5-on-5 with some of the plays he makes? Yes. He does have a minus 17 plus minus 5-on-5, which is not good as a defenseman, but he is a third line pairing. So, but then when you compare it to his counterpart in Oli Mata, who he's been matching up with a lot of the time now, Mata has a plus 15.
So they pair up a lot, but Mata has plus 15 and he has
they've been moving around a lot. Right. Because of injuries, because Jake Wallman was out a little bit, Ben Sherratt was out a little bit, Jeff Petrie was out a little bit, and with us having 7 defensemen signed with Justin Hall, it does get changed a little bit. And it's actually funny. Justin Hall has a plus 5, plus minus. But he only plays about a third of the game. So does that affect it? Yes, it does. So, but my biggest issue has been Ben Sherratt and Jeff Petrie. Jeff Petrie, my biggest issues with him as a defenseman is he goes for a check and he just takes himself completely out of the game.
Right.
The puck's not there anymore, and he's still trying to bear hug this dude.
Yeah.
And it's almost like he's trying to act tough and big, but he doesn't actually want to do it. And then Sherratt just, for some reason, he plays so well sometimes. He looks like what we signed him to be.
Yeah.
And then you watch him, and then he just gives it back. You know, sometimes just tosses the puck in the middle of the ice and gives it back to the opposing team for a shot on goal.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, we're the red jerseys. We're, you know, that wing wheel you see with that garbage fucking patch on the jersey too. Yeah, that's our fucking team.
First one with the garbage on the jersey today.
Yeah.
Yeah, fucking. All I gotta say is Mr. Illich would not let this fucking happen. You know, that's what I believe. And it's just, you know, I was hoping, so they came out beforehand with the patch saying, you know, we're going to be adding a patch, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, Michigan-made product. I'm all for it, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, they have the Meyer on the helmet, which is historically a Midwest product. It's slowly been branched out, but it started out as Little Caesars, Michigan product. Now, has it been branching out? Yes, but it's a Midwest thing. The fucking priority garbage or whatever they're called.
Yeah.
A fucking trash company on one of the most historic jerseys in all of NHL.
Could have got Mr. Beast.
He's not Midwest.
Fuck.
But
Good
why?
point.
That's North Carolina.
Good point.
But like I was thinking,
But why a trash company, bro?
I was honestly.
Oh, it's a trash company, so your team is trash. Like,
I was honestly thinking Better Made or Fago was my top two for getting it.
Fago would be so
Or
nasty on a
Better
jersey.
Made too. You know.
Yeah.
I was just in there like, what the hell? You know, what was the decision making there? They must have had to pay a hell of a lot of money for him to choose to do that,
Yeah.
or he just must not like his fans at all.
Yeah.
You know, because the Red Wings fan base is one of the biggest in the NHL.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
there was a poll that came out a couple years back, and the Red Wings had the most states and most provinces because they did it both in Canada and America because obviously it's the leagues in both. And the Red Wings came back with most states that watched and searched Red Wings and the most provinces. They had, I think,
That's cool.
6 states and 3 provinces.
That's
so,
really cool.
and it kind of also helps that Michigan people, you know, the retirees, you know, people with money go down south for winter. It does help, but their primary residency is in Michigan. So it does help in that situation. But also, we are just one of the historic team.
Oh, yeah.
We are the team, the American team with the most Stanley Cups. The next closest team is the Boston Bruins with 6. We have 11. We have 5 on them. Now, yes, the Maple Leafs have 13. The Canadians have 23. That's a lot to deal with, but we're still the most winningest
in
American
the U.S.
team.
Yeah.
You know, the next 2 closest teams are the Bruins and the Blackhawks with 6. And then I believe it's the next one's 5. And I know the last original 6 team, the Rangers, only has 4.
Yeah.
Which is kind of sad. You know?
Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah, but a little sidetrack there. Got on top of priority fucking waste management.
No, you're
That's
good.
just,
You're
that's
good, man.
just another.
I mean, it's ridiculous that like once that gets in the fucking jerseys, we just straight shit can.
We're at the trash. We become trash after we put on the trash on our jersey.
It's actually funny how many memes I saw about it.
Oh,
It
yeah.
was,
People
it was
talk about it.
hysterical. Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, and I know like we're not trying to be on the fucking patch for a very long time, but it doesn't look that bad on the jersey. It doesn't say priority trash. You know what I mean? It's just I think the idea, knowing that it is a trash company, being the guys, and then saying like, okay, yeah, that's really weird, especially with the losing. But like, I don't know, the patch isn't a fucking dumpster, you know?
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
It's like-
well, and I think they were looking for a logo that was predominantly red and white. I mean,
Mhm.
Meyer is a red and white logo. I mean, so
Yeah.
they were trying to keep the colors the same.
Right.
Now, in my opinion, if you chose Better Made, you just tell them, yeah, your logo is going to be red and white. Sucks to suck. You know, if you don't like it, then don't be on the fucking jersey. You know,
Yeah.
that's just how it goes. You know, you're the $1 billion company here.
Yeah.
It's your decision. You know,
Right.
you're the team with a fan base of, you know, however, like 20 million people. You make the fucking decisions. You know?
Mhm.
Like,
Right.
that's just how I see it.
Right, and you know, it's just, yeah, they have all the control in the scenario. And I don't understand why they're, especially like, there's a lot of Michigan-made shit that could have been on that
Yeah.
jersey, all things considered.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not gonna change. And,
Well,
but
that's why you didn't see so much hate on the Meyer addition. Because first of all, it went on the helmet. The helmets were already red. They didn't really have anything cool on them. It wasn't that big of a deal. It wasn't set on the jersey also. Yeah. But Meyer is a Midwest product, and nobody was really against it, and everybody likes Meyer, because, when you compare Meyer to Walmart, people like Meyer because it's, more courtesy, more, adaptive to the customers, whatever. So it was one of the things to where nobody really cared. And then you come and do this, and it's one of them things where people just question, well, are you in it for the money? Because, I don't know, you don't need more money, in my opinion. You have Little Caesars, who has a deal with the NFL now, so you guys are doing pretty well.
Yeah.
You also have owned 2 professional sports teams in the Tigers and in the Red Wings. So, I don't know what more money you need.
I don't know.
That's
yeah.
So,
more is better, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know. I guess we don't have that much money, so he's just about to say fuck you guys.
Yeah. Well, I guess, do you have anything else you want to add about the Wings?
Well, so I would like to see more prospects up. That's me personally. I would like to see Evanson.
I love watching young players be able to get chances and develop. So I'm totally in agreement with that.
Yeah.
So
I personally, defenseman alone, Simon Evanson is up there with Seider. I think he could beat him, and Seider could be a top pairing. And then I think you bring in a guy. There's Albert Johansson. He's played for the Griffins for the longest time. He's 23 years old. He's the same age as a lot of the Sabres players.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there like, he has statistically been one of the most steady guys in the AHL for multiple years to come. And then this year, he's been adding on to that with his offensive capabilities.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there like, give this guy a chance.
It's everything you want to see out of a young player.
Obviously, don't put Simon Evanson and Johansson on a line together. I'm not saying that.
Right.
Split them up. Maybe if you want to put Simon Evanson with Olimata, a steady guy. Excuse me. And then you put Johansson on with your Jake Wallman, and then go sign a first-line defenseman to help Seider out. That is something you can do, and dump, and don't re-sign Gostisbehere. Dump Petrie, Sherratt, and Hall. And, try to add some young core to this team. Because we are...
Some young, talented core.
Yeah, because realistically, you look at it, Morris Seider and Joe Veleno and Lucas Raymond are our youngest players.
Mm-hmm.
Now, look at the rest of them. You have David Perron and Patrick Kane, who I think are both 35. That is your veteran core.
Copp's up there.
No, Copp's actually only 27, I believe.
Yeah. Okay.
That's halfway through your career. Or something like that,
Yeah.
But he plays like he's 37.
Yeah.
So in forwards wise, Marco Kasper played 1 game last year for the Red Wings. God, he was electric. He was in there ready to fight people. He was bringing that energy, that playoff energy that I think we need.
Oh yeah.
Caleb Mazur has been insane for the Grand Rapids Griffins. He played great for the Saginaw Spirits before going to the Griffins the year previous. Jonathan Berggren has proved he is an NHL player. Last year, he was one of the sights to sore eyes on the team last year, especially when we got pushed out of the playoffs. And this year, the first stint he came, he played 4 games for the Red Wings. He had a point per game. Now, he came up for this losing streak because Larkin was out, and they traded away Klim Kostin. He's had a rough stretch, but the entire team has had a rough stretch.
Right.
Jonathan Berggren has the most points in the AHL. He averages 1.8 points per game. Those are statistics you want to see as a NHL GM. That's what you want to see from your guys. And I think it speaks volumes to what Yzerman has done, because also people have been questioning the Yzerman Plan, which I am still fully supportive behind. People don't realize that when Yzerman came in, our AHL team and OHL teams and minor league teams, wherever they are, were complete and utter terrible. We were losing. We weren't developing. We were just playing awful.
Yeah.
Because Ken Holland, the GM now for the Oilers, did not set up a good system to support new players, to support his players in the system. And now we have finally got that, and we are seeing players like Berggren, Evans, and Johansson, Casa, all these guys developing so well and showing us as fans that we're not going to be here for 2 years. We're not going to be here for 1 year.
Right.
We're here to stay. You know,
Right.
we're only going up from here. And that's a great thing to see as Red Wings fan. And I honestly think that's a great thing to say as a NHL fan, because I believe this wholeheartedly that the NHL is better when the Red Wings are better.
Yeah.
I believe that in every sport. I believe Detroit fans are electric. Now, look at the Lions.
Yeah.
I mean, even when the Pistons are at 11 or 12 wins or whatever they're at now, and they still have fans cheering as hard. When we went to that a couple games,
we were cheering, man.
Yeah,
we were young.
It was a good time, you know.
Yeah, it was. That was a close game.
Going to Red Wings game this year, oh, it's so much different than previous years.
Yeah.
You know, Tigers. There's actually a little bit of hope for the Tigers. You know, which is actually a little bit surprising with how bad they've been playing.
Yeah.
But Detroit fans can just make every league better, in my opinion. I don't know how you guys feel.
No, I totally agree. agree.
Oh yeah.
Whenever we, at least when we show up, like we're giving our all. We're giving our all to help get the volume up and the energy up in the stadium.
Well, in the Lions playoffs, like you could see Lions fans travel, taking over places. You know what I mean? Like
not even just the playoffs,
right,
the regular
season. Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
I guess, but yeah, like looking at the 49ers game, that wasn't a overwhelmingly home field advantage.
No.
In games, going against the Buccaneers, games that we literally took over places. Green Bay, like early in the season, we took over Green Bay.
Yeah.
That was you hear like just let's go Lions chants at away games after wins. That's crazy.
And all the Jared Goff chants.
There's still Jared Goff chants going on. Red Wings game.
Yeah.
The Red Wings have been very up and down this season. I mean, I was really questioning the moves we had made in December when we were going 1 for 1 and how much money we had spent and all this. And I was also kind of blaming it on the Sweden trip. Because with the Sweden trip, because you have to save time to transition because the time zone differences are so insanely different, and because you go there for a week and then you only have like a week to put on each side, like split the week to adapt to it. And so it was like what's going on, and then to come back, blah blah. But then in January we were just electric. It was. We were the best team in January. The only team, we were the second best team behind the Oilers. The Oilers went on a 13-game win streak.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, but you can't beat that, And to be the second best team in January, that's not a bad thing, you really can't complain about that.
No.
And when you're losing to Connor McDavid also, you really can't complain about it, So, and it was we were scoring, we were playing hard defense, we were playing tough. We actually
playing bodies.
We and then before this little 7-game skid, we were on a 6-game winning streak, which hasn't happened since 2015. So it was one of the things where I was like, wow, what's going on? This is the Red Wings I'm watching.
You're right. Right.
And now it's I mean, you get humbled a little bit, but I think I also think it's a good thing that we got humbled.
It definitely is.
Now instead of just before the playoffs.
Yes, I agree with that. Yeah.
Because, the playoffs are the playoffs. You're going to have to play rough and tough. There's going to be more stuff given away, but we got our guys to do that. David Perron today, wow, he was beating on them young guys from the Sabres. In the overtime. Oh no, not overtime. Sorry. The last minute of the game, the Sabres, Rasmus Dahlin, great defenseman. He gets pulled back in. As he's going by Perron gives him a little bump into the wall. I was just like, get in their head, Perron. That's what you got to do. And that's what we did. We got in their head. They were trying to get in our head. We got in their head. And that's what I think we need to start doing more. Because skill-wise, we're not going to beat the Panthers. We're not going to beat the Bruins. We're not going to beat the Canucks. Right. But if we can play rough and tough and get in their heads.
Same thing as Lions. Give us grit. Grit.
Especially in the playoffs, in the NHL playoffs. The teams that get roughed on more are not going to last that long. And if you do the roughing, you're not getting hurt so much. You know,
Yeah.
that's it's a lasting game in the Stanley Cup playoffs. There's a reason why it is so hard to win back-to-back Stanley Cups because of how hard it is on your body.
Yeah.
Especially if you go 7 games in a series, because then you have about 2 or 3 days until your next game starts. And guess what? That's a harder team. That's probably another 7-game series. And guess what? And they probably only played 4 or 5 games.
Right.
So it's, it just speaks volume to how rough the NHL is and how rough the playoffs are.
Yeah. Things definitely get turned up. So let's make them. Let's make the playoffs this year. Offseason, improve, and let's just continue to ride this young core that we're starting to build.
Yeah.
Give us some of the young guys.
Make Lalonde is only in his second year. Give him time. We gave Jeff Blashill
way too long
since 2015 and 16, and he was fired. So 2 years ago, so that would have been the 21-22 season, I believe, or wait, no, 22-23 season. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So we gave him about 5 or 6 years.
No,
and I actually have stats. I'm going to read them right now.
Go on.
So Lalonde, 68 wins as the Red Wings coach, 64 losses, and the points percentage. So that means how many your games played, how much of those points are again. He's at a .514. So 51% of the points that he's capable of getting, the team is getting. Now let's look at Jeff Blashill. Jeff Blashill, through his tenure as the coach, he had 204 wins, 261 losses. His points percentage was .447. Now, you can say what you want about the team at that time, but it's your job as a coach to make your team win. It's your job as a coach to find the flaws in your team. And the only time Jeff Blashill made the playoffs was the first year he was coach, 15-16.
Yeah.
And that was the only time he had a winning record as an NHL coach.
Yeah, that's right.
That kind of speaks volumes. And, my thing was when I watched Jeff Blashill coach, it was just some of the oddest plays I ever saw. So they used to always do this. I called it the Hail Mary pass. When you watch a Hail Mary in the NFL, I saw, what's his name?
Wouldn't they cut across the opposing blue line? They try to send it from our end all the way to him or something?
I would watch Philip Hronik from our goal line.
Yeah.
Flick it up. You almost hit the scoreboard in the middle of the ice.
I remember that.
And then it just dropped. We would get an icing, and we would already be like a minute and a half to a defensive zone thing, and all of our players would be dead. Philip Hronik would just do that. You get 10 seconds to relax, and then we get scored on. And it'd be like, what the fuck?
What is that play? Yeah, it's just ridiculous play.
Yeah, Jeff Blashill, he was supposed to be a power play and penalty kill type of guy. That's what I read about him before joining the team because I keep up with all the stuff.
That's what it was advertised as.
And it was one of the worst penalty kills. One of the worst. We would dump and chase on a power play.
My!
What are we doing?
Yeah, that's just not.
That's not the strategy.
That is not.
You have a plus guy on the. It's 5-on-4.
Yeah.
So it was. And the Lalonde, he's come in. Our power play in Pelica has looked light years better than what it's looked. Our team as a whole has looked light years better than what it was. So I think that just speaks volume. You have to give the Lalonde time. As an NHL coach, you are not going to come in and fix it in 3 years. Dan Campbell, he came in and fixed the lines in 3 years. Brad Holmes came in and fixed the line in 3 years. Yzerman, he's on his 7th or 8th year. I don't remember. But there's also, it's kind of like the MLB. You have to build up your farm systems to then bring those players over and put players in their place to build them and keep a cycle going. It's like the same with in the early 2000s, our goalie situation. We had Kevin Osgood and what's his name? Mike Vernon or no? I forget his name.
It wasn't Howard, was it?
No, Howard was in our farm systems.
Right.
And he's told this story on the broadcast. He was sitting there and he looked at the guys above him and he was like, well, I know I'm not going to get to play yet, but I'm just going to sit here, develop, and wait my time.
Yeah.
And that's what you need. It's not good to bring especially goalies, you don't want to bring them up early because then they get the 7 goals scored on and they
And
lose
then
all their confidence.
For goalies, it's a much different game.
And
like
now
that.
you see Yzerman doing that. We have Sebastian Casa and I forget his, Augustine for MSU. Those two have looked so good, and I potentially think we could see Casa come up next year because Billy Husso and James Reimer, Billy Husso and Alex Leiner signed for 2 years. But I feel like one of those, we could bring Casa up as a third like we did this year.
Yeah.
And just get rid of James Reimer,
Yep.
And then to potentially see Augustine and Sebastian Casa as a future duo, that is just crazy to think about. It almost reminds me of what Boston currently has in Swayman and Allmark. When we first drafted Casa, he was drafted 15th overall, and everybody had us picking, there was another goalie in that draft, I forget his name, but they had us picking him over Casa. So obviously, Yzerman saw something in Sebastian Casa.
Yeah.
And Yzerman knew that you have to have a steady back, a steady tandem in your team to really enhance it. There's a reason why the Bruins are second in our division right now. Look at their goalie tandem.
Yeah.
They have Swayman and Allmark. The best tandem in the league. There's no argument about that. Those are 2 first goalies splitting the time. No matter what you do, it's not like you can say, "Oh, we're going up against the backup today. We can probably score some more goals."
Right.
You can't say that about the Bruins. So, and then when you have your goalie like Shesterkin, like Vasilevsky, like Sorokin, like Hellebuck, like Otterbringer, all those guys, it's like you need that. There's a reason why goalies are so important. There's a reason why they have their whole set of stats for themselves.
Yeah.
And so it's important, and it's good that Yzerman saw that early on because Sebastian Casa was drafted like 3 years ago now. And it takes about 4 years to develop a goalie in this league now because you don't want to rush them. You want to make sure that they are set because if you don't and you ruin their confidence, you could potentially just ruin them as a player as a whole. And you don't want to see that, especially when you draft them 15th overall.
Yeah.
So, and then to go get Augustine, who for MSU this year has been playing insane. I haven't really... I don't remember his stats off the top because I don't really watch a lot of college hockey because it's not really broadcasted all too well. And there's already so many NHL games that I try to keep up on. So, but I've just, from the few clips I've seen, he's looked very safe. He led the U.S. World Juniors team. I believe they won gold this year, and he was stellar for that team. Just stellar. So it's very good to see that in our future, our goalie situation looks set. Obviously when they come to the NHL, anything can happen. That's just like anybody. But it's good to see that in the future we have potential to be a good duo, like a Bruins duo again. And it's great to see because we haven't had that for some time.
Right.
Yeah. And then what I would also like to say is Lucas Raymond. God, has he looked good. He added on about 10 pounds of muscle this offseason, and it has shown. He's playing more physical. He has the most assists on the team. He's tied for points, the point lead on the team. And he has just looked stellar. He's looked like the only player in this skid to really keep the gears going.
Yeah.
Now, him and Schrock did have that little thing in practice a couple days ago. And you can say what you want, but then in the game 2 days ago against the Coyotes, they got in the penalty box together, and they were all buddy-buddy. It happens, Tensions rise. You're on a 6-game losing streak. It happens, especially when you're in a game, a league that allows you to fight. It happens.
Yeah. We don't have a Draymond down here.
It's just the way it is. You see it all the time. Tensions rise, players outburst and then in that clip that you see at them at practice, they get in that little scuffle, and then they just start talking again. And it's like that's what you want to see. That we can have a little difference and still work together to try to make a team. But Razor, God, he's just looked so good. I think he can be the scoring player we need on a second line. I think if you keep Alex Debrincat and Patrick Kane, and then you obviously have Larkin, those 4, however you put it, on the top 2 lines, say you want to keep Comfort in as the second line center. You're just missing that last 6th top guy. And that is something we have not had for years. In previous years, we had Lucas Raymond and Tyler Bertuzzi, which were a duo in themselves, but obviously you only have 2 players. That's not going to really help you at all. And then we brought in Lucas Raymond. We had one good first line, and then every other line couldn't do shit. So it speaks volumes to the depth that we've added, but it also shows Lucas Raymond's development because today he has career high in points with his goal. Yeah. And that just shows, hey, we're developing.
This guy's getting better. Yeah.
And all the players, and everybody's hating on Seider because his stats haven't been there, blah, blah, blah. But
with defensemen, stats don't always have to be the first thing that's there, by the way. Defensemen, you have a role that you play,
Yeah. And the most important stat for a defenseman, TOI, time on ice. Guess what Seider averages? 23 minutes. Yeah. Guess what the league averages? 21 minutes. Yeah. So go fuck yourselves, buddy. And he's the only player to where I've seen him lock up Connor McDavid multiple times, lock up Austin Matthews multiple times. He gets put against the best players every single game. Yep. There's a reason why he's our number 1 defenseman, people. And just wait. When we finally get him a guy that's steady, that can enhance his play, God, I just can't imagine what he's going to look like.
We're ready for it.
Yeah, we're ready. Because, that first year, the team was bad, so he could kind of do what he wanted and not get as criticized for it. But now, if he tries to do what Gossesbear, what Wallman does on the offensive side, and, we get scored on because of it, you know how badly people are going to shit on him more than what he's doing currently? Right. Like, they're going to say, oh, such a terrible pick by the Red Wings, 6th overall. Why did they choose him? Blah, blah. He has to, and I think he's been told this, we want you to play defense because we need you to. This is what the team needs right now. Yep. And I think he's been doing that very well. And so I think to all the people hating on Lucas Raymond and Moritz Seider, I don't think you realize where the team's at. And I don't think you realize what you're talking about. You're just bandwagoning bastards that need to go back into the hole you came out of.
Yeah, as a defenseman, like if you're on that first line, you're on the first line with those first line scorers, with those first line playmakers. That's not they want you out there for when the big break's coming down the ice. Oh, you're gonna stop that. You're locking up in its tracks. You're stopping it right there. Like you said, that time on ice, he's playing a lot of minutes. He's out there to play defense and keep people out of our end, out of the front of our net. Don't let those Connor McDavids get to their positions that they want to. Yeah. And he's a big body for it, and that's what he does.
Well, and he's also playing the penalty kill. He's also playing the power play.
Yes, yeah.
He does his job very well. And that's what I love to see. Now, would I like to see him in more positions to where we get to see his offensive prowess? Yes. But right now we can't. We're kind of tied by the hands with our defensemen currently. And it sucks to say, but it's just how it is. Yeah. We're going to see Seider hopefully for his entire career in Detroit. Yes. And so it's, we have time. It's not like he's going anywhere, guys. Just give him time. Don't rush. We're here for multiple years. Yzerman is building a Tampa Bay-esque team to where we can go win Stanley Cups. We can go make the finals multiple years. He's not here to win a Stanley Cup. He's here to win Stanley Cups. Yeah. There's a difference. You can go be a team that wins one, and then you get forgot about. Look at the St. Louis Blues with David Perron and them. They won it the years before Tampa Bay won it. Nobody fucking remembers that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
right.
It's just how it goes. There's a reason why everybody remembers Tampa Bay's wins, because guess what? They won them back to back. Yeah. That's it's something to consider. Yeah. And that's what I love to see from Yzerman. He's not rushing. With other GMs, you would see them rushing. You would see like last year at the trade deadline, they'd be buying in to make the playoffs. Yzerman sold because he
just to make the playoffs. Yeah,
he doesn't want to just make the playoffs. He wants to win. He wants to go in the playoffs and be a contender. And that's what he's building towards. Yeah. And this little skid has proven that we are not there yet, but we have moved giant leaps, giant steps in the right direction this year. Yeah. And it's very exciting to be a Detroit Red Wings fan right now compared to the last 7 years.
Sure. You can say the same thing about the Lions. We're building...
Well, the Lions for the past 50 years.
Well, right. But it's exciting to be watching these teams, and you're like, and you're like, it's the same thing with the Lions. We're not rushing. We're not doing that.
Well,
We're not signing dudes on long contracts for a lot of money. We're getting guys that we need now. We're making improvements where we need to, and we're getting players that fit the systems.
Yeah.
So
well, it's also nice to be as a Lions fan to go into the off season, like go into the postseason, the playoffs, and not be thinking about the draft already.
Yeah.
yeah,
Be thinking,
yeah,
oh, we're going up against the Los Angeles Rams.
yeah.
We're gonna kick their ass. You know?
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
going. Then we got either the Buccaneers or the Eagles. We can beat both their asses. Then we're probably facing the 49ers in the conference championship. We got a good chance to get them. That's what's nice thinking about.
Yeah.
And then going into the offseason and seeing how we can enhance our already conference championship team to a fucking Super Bowl team. That's just awesome to see, and that's what I can't wait for with the Red Wings, because with hockey, they're probably gonna make the playoffs this year. And you're just hoping that they make the playoffs. That's the next step. Next year, the next step is to win playoff series, to probably, hopefully, win 2, and to lose in this, lose in one of those rounds. Then you're seeing improvement every year. That's what you want, especially out of the NHL, because of how long it takes to develop players.
Yeah.
You're not gonna get your Morris Seider. You're not gonna get your Lucas Raymonds. You're not gonna get your Connor Bedard. You're not gonna get your Connor McDavids, who jump right into the NHL, who have 1 year in the minor league system, then jump right to the NHL.
Yeah.
You need players like your Marco Kaspers, like your Simon Evansons, like your Sebastian Costas, who have spent time in the NHL. But guess what? When they come up to the NHL, they are like those guys who have come in 1 or 0 years in the minor league systems. They make an impact instantly on the team. And that's what's exciting.
They are ready to go.
That's what's exciting about the Lions. That's what's exciting about the Red Wings. And hopefully that's what we see from the Tigers and Pistons in upcoming years.
Yes.
For sure.
Totally agree with that.
Okay, well, with that being said, I think we're going to move off of the Wings. Thanks, Bret. Bret gave us, basically, we've been lacking a lot of Wings content on this podcast, on this channel overall. Now, getting a good dose, especially from someone who's been watching it a lot this season for a long time as well. And, I can try to give you some hockey information, but obviously I'm not going to give it to you the same way that Bret is going to. The knowledge difference is there. We're going to get there eventually. But with that being said, I have something that I have a big fucking problem with. Because I want to Kenny pick this dumbass up and put him in the fucking trash. Because I'm about done with this guy. And I'm claiming right now that Kenny Pickett does not last 3 more years in the NFL. I think he is out of the league in 3 years max. And that's fucking max. I'm guessing 2. And why I'm saying that is because this piece of shit at 25 years old, I'm fucking mad. He has played terribly. He was touted as a NBA ready prospect because of his year. NFL ready prospect because of his extra college years.
Yeah.
He's 25 years old. He's been in the league 2 fucking seasons. That's not something that you should be struggling in right now. 13 touchdowns, 13 interceptions.
In his seasons, bro, that is bad.
Not only is it bad for 1 season, to say that you have and I understand there was injuries involved, and I understand that he wasn't an instant starter as a rookie, and I totally get that. With that being said, do not come at me with any defense. I watched Steelers games last year.
Yeah.
He was not good. Healthy, not healthy. He wasn't good on the bench. He was fucking terrible. This guy has an ego that is the biggest problem with him. Because he could be maybe a backup. I mean, shit. Look at the backups that's been in the league. Mason Rudolph has been a career fucking backup. He's nothing special. Yeah. Even then, he's looked better than Kenny Pickett.
Yeah.
And with that being said, that goes to this. Last season, Kenny Pickett goes down. Mason Rudolph starts to catch fire. Honestly, this Steelers team, we're looking at playoffs. This is looking pretty good. Kenny Pickett, he's still kind of banged up. He's able, he's starting to get closer to getting cleared. It comes down to, he might end up being the backup. Him, no. He does not accept that. He does not want to back up Mason Rudolph. His ego basically just makes him where, no, that's not okay with me. Well, Tomlin didn't care. He started being inactive. Not a backup. He was inactive for the game.
Yeah.
He's not there. He's not that. What type of leader overall is that? The quarterback position is naturally the leader of the NFL, the football team.
Right.
So with that being said, that's one thing. But this offseason was the final straw with me. to show, he's got the fucking ego of a starter, a superstar quarterback, and the talent of Daniel fucking Jones. And it's really, and you know what? I don't know if I want him as a backup. But anyways.
Is he even as talented as Daniel Jones?
I don't know.
Daniel Jones does more than him, bro.
Yes, I would say that as well.
See, the issue with Kenny Pickett is I feel like he's handicapped to where he has to throw within 30 yards. He's not throwing passes.
Yeah.
And it kind of reminds me of Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson, 30 yards, he can decently, accurately throw a ball. Outside of that, it's pretty scary to watch.
Right.
Especially when you got a guy like Garrett Wilson that's a historic, deep run kind of guy.
Yeah.
So watching Kenny Pickett and also watching what the offensive coordinator was doing, it was just kind of hard to watch, especially because I know people who are Steelers fans. I work with people that are Steelers fans, and you could just Pittsburgh. It's a football town, and it's hard to see. It's almost like watching when the Lions were bad,
Yeah.
Detroit, it is kind of a football town. It's a football and hockey town, like really hard, hardcore. So it's hard to see them happening to him. But Kenny Pickett, God, it's tough to see.
I don't know how, but Tomlin continues to make these teams above 500. He doesn't get losing fucking records.
Yeah.
The guy has never had an under 500 record as the coach of
Never.
the Steelers. And with that being said, this offense, you are a good offense away from being a serious contender with this type of defense, because literally, how are you 9-8 with horrible? You can't run the ball because your offensive line sucks. The only hope is Jalen Warren. Najee Harris struggled horribly last 2 years. Last 2 years, he is not the same guy he was a rookie. Then, looking at, Kenny Pickett, Mitch Trubisky, whatever one you want to talk about for the last 2 years, hasn't been the answer.
No.
Now, they have two guys in the building, Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. And we can talk about who you guys think is the guy, who you think is going to start next season. Of course, future play is definitely Justin Fields. There's no really debate with that. But to say right now, at least if I'm a Steelers fan, I'm looking up because, one, we traded Kenny Pickett. We got off of him and his first round money. We then got, yes, we gave us some assets. We got a third round pick. Yes, we gave our fourth round pick, but I'm taking our third round pick and I'm going to run it. Yeah. And then also Justin Fields, I always wanted to talk bad about him because he's in the NFC North. He's not that bad of a quarterback, all things considered. And with that being said, he's definitely an upgrade over Kenny Pickett. And with that being said, hopefully either Russ starts this year and he can give some serious mentorship, some serious learning curve can happen with reading the field because Justin Fields needs it. He's holding onto the ball the most amount of time any quarterback in the league in the pocket. Yes. That's an issue. That's a reading the field issue. So with that being said, you need to fix that. Maybe that's a year behind Russell Wilson, getting the scheme down, and then we can attack. Next season, Russ off his 1 year deal. Now let's go. Justin Fields the guy for the next 5, 8, whatever the year span is, and now you might have a top quarterback if you groom him correctly. But I don't know what you guys think.
See,
Justin
what I mean? Fields going into that system, I feel like it's all what's been missing in the Bears system. They got rid of Dionte Johnson to the Panthers. They only have George Pickens really as the wide receiver in the room.
They signed Van Jefferson, but he's nothing special.
No.
Really
the O-line, terrible. The running back situation, Jalen Warren, I feel like is a very capable running back. It's just he has no O-line. He has no holes to run through. There's no tight end situation. Freiermuth. He's good, but when you have to put him on the line to block because your O-line's so bad, it doesn't matter how good he is in the skill position.
Right.
So looking at what Justin Fields is coming from with the Bears, previous years, last year they added DJ Moore, which was great, but Justin Fields had no time in the pocket. And you can say whatever you want about him holding on to the ball. The Bears' O-line was trash. They had no run game, so it was very easy for opposing teams to sit on the pass game.
Justin Fields was the run game.
Right.
I mean, look at what happened to David Montgomery. He left the Bears, went to the Lions, averages 7 yards a carry or whatever it was, compared to his 3 year.
But yes.
Which 5 is very good in the NFL.
Right, but compared to the Bears, where he's averaging like 3, I think.
He was on the Bears, and he was actually. David Montgomery was very good for the Bears because he gave him like 4 yards a carry for the Bears is what he was doing there, which with their terrible O-line was really good because he was just able to get those extra couple yards every time.
And when
so when we got him, I was like, dude, This guy is going to be a monster for
And a
us.
stat that got ingrained into my head because of that offseason, demanding and telling people that David Montgomery is going to be better than Jamal Williams, was Jamal Williams and David Montgomery both averaged a little, like around 4.5 yards per carry.
Yep.
With that change, though, our offensive line gave Jamal Williams 3 yards until touched.
Yes.
You know what the Bears gave David Montgomery? A little over a yard. I mean, he's
never saw that
fighting.
stat.
That's what I'm saying.
He
That's
is
what I'm saying.
fighting for yards.
I love that. I loved bringing in Montgomery with seeing that he was getting 4 yards for the Bears. I was like you said, one of the worst O-lines in the league, and he's giving them 4 yards a carry.
Right.
With our O-line, top 5 O-line in the league, I already knew. Oh, here we go. This is a monster for us. And then we draft Jahmyr Gibbs, and then you don't know what to do.
But like you were saying, the situation does have a lot of, similarities too, because the poor offensive line, the run game, I mean, especially how Khalil Herbert really took a pretty decent step back last year.
Yes.
I think that this tandem, hopefully Najee Harris picks it up. But if not, Jalen Warren looked explosive last year.
Yes.
You need to add to this wide receiver room in the draft. You need to do, maybe free agency still isn't over. Sign some guys up for some cheaper deals and get some guys that are consistent, because whether it's Russ, whether it's Fields, they're going to need to have a guy to still bolster this offense. Yes, you might have brought in an upgrade at quarterback, but you can't lose skill players' talent. And then
George Pickens and Miles Boykin is not going to come. Come on.
Well, that's why also Russell Wilson's also a big. The quarterback QB1 in my mind is still up for grabs, because Russell Wilson, the Broncos had skill positions. Their O-line could have been better, yes, and they had Sean Payton as a coach. And Mike Tomlin is up there with Sean Payton. They're great coaches. So you could honestly say the Broncos were in a better situation than what the Steelers are. So what does that say about Russell?
Right.
But there was just a big argument between Russell and Sean Payton about how they want the team to run. You don't know behind the scenes.
This last year, Russell actually picked himself up off of the floor from the year before, because he had like 26 touchdowns to 8 interceptions, which is like, wow, why is this guy benched? I don't know. I don't know why they benched him. They were making a playoff push. They lost a couple games in the beginning of the season, and then they had like a winning streak of like 5-6 games, and then like they lost maybe 1 or 2 more, and then they're like, rest are done. And it's like, he was not the year before is when you should have been done, not when he's actually starting to perform now and you're making a playoff push. Like, what are you doing?
Now when you just give away so much to get him, you don't say you're done with him.
Well,
Look at what they had to give away to get him, and it's like in the first year, if you're sitting there as an owner, if your coach benches him, you're like, what the fuck are you doing? I just did all this to get him. What the fuck? You're fired. He was already fired, but it's like when you're sitting there as a coach, as a GM, as an owner, you give away so much for a guy. You have to see him play. You don't give away millions. You don't give away all your picks, all this crap, just to see him sit there on the bench or be cut.
Well, I mean, if you're gonna do it, why are you doing it when he's actually starting to perform? Like, I don't understand that.
That's
and making a playoff push. That doesn't make any sense to me.
That's where I think that.
And now you're eating that cap.
Yeah. That's where I think the gap between Sean Payton and Russell Wilson comes in. I feel like that's what came down to them benching Russell Wilson, because they had a disagreement on how the offense should be ran. Sean Payton thought it should be X. Russell Wilson thought it should be Y. And and obviously Sean Payton makes the final say because he's the head coach. That's what you bring him in to do. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens with the Steelers with the Justin Fields and Russell Wilson situation. I think it'll be interesting, and it will
be better than Pickett. It will be.
Yeah, and Pickett going to the Eagles just looks like him trying to join a team to win a Super Bowl.
Right, get on a little bandwagon.
He's not playing over Jalen Hurts. Not happening, unless Jalen Hurts fucking tears his Achilles, which I could see happening because it just happens now, like no other. So.
Well, and I really wonder, this also helps my case of saying that he's not going to be in the league much longer. You're not going to see a lot of him. You know what I mean? You're not going to see him playing a whole lot because, and I mean, I'm not saying that Jalen Hurts won't get injured, but he has stayed relatively healthy for most of the time as the Eagles starter. Now, that being said, there's a lot of reasons why I think Kenny Pickett won't be, but like once he gets free agency, right? let's say his contract runs up with the Eagles. Then, what track record, what enticing thing besides he's not young, he's not going to be a youthful pickup that might turn into something like a Trey Lance.
Right.
He's going to be, what, 26, 27? Do you want to start a project at 26, 27?
The only thing I could say that would be on his resume is if the Eagles make a playoff run, he will get that playoff experience. He will be on the team with playoff experience.
You can see, he'll be in the locker room.
He'll be talking to Jalen Hurts.
He'll have the boombox ready.
Yeah. He'll be oh, good slap asses, boys. But in all seriousness, he will be on the sidelines talking with the Eagles quarterback coach, talking with Jalen Hurts, seeing what happens. There's that you could potentially say is on his resume.
Does that help your accuracy throwing the ball?
Yeah, but say you're going to the Panthers, and the Panthers want a backup quarterback to Bryce Young. Kenny Pickett's there for $750K. We'll take him. I mean that's what I see in Kenny Pickett's future, because honestly, I think he would have had a better chance fighting Russell Wilson for the QB1 spot.
That's what I'm kind of thinking here too.
Because you're not taking quarterback 1 from Jalen Hurts. I just don't see it.
And also, you could have learned from the fucking former Super Bowl champion guy who's been to multiple Super Bowls. I don't know what the fuck he's thinking.
Yeah.
And because, now Justin Fields is gonna get that, and Justin Fields can just go be a starter instead of Kenny Pickett. Because Kenny Pickett, now you made it worse. Yeah. Because once again, what does it stem from? It's from the ego, from him being the guy from Pitt, the hometown kid. Now I'm instantly the starter after Big Ben leaves. Right. And now that it's not going perfectly, it's not the storybook that you want it. Instead of fighting through, readjusting, he just quits. Yeah. He wants, and basically, I don't think it was that he wants out, but the thing that happened there and why he was traded, the Steelers said, was because his response to the signing of Russell Wilson. Yeah. And that shows, like I said, leadership, and it makes you look like a fucking scumbag. So I don't know. I need to just kind of let loose on Kenny Pickett. I watched a lot of Steelers football last year, and it was not a good time. And Kenny Pickett is not an accurate passer. He's not good on the move. He's he's a mobile quarterback, but he also has been getting injured. So what does it matter if you're a mobile quarterback? Because your durability is shit. Yeah. So I don't know. But anyways, I mean, we've been talking about this a lot. Something that was, I don't know. To me, it was a surprise, but it
was surprising. Yeah. And then now that they did that, then they got Fields now. So now they're like, okay, different moves are going on. Switching up. So
I honestly will say I did not expect Fields to the Steelers. I would have thought... Well,
it was a rumored thing, but it was
rumored to the Steelers, or rumored that he would get traded?
It was rumored that he was going to get traded, possibly, and Steelers were one of the teams because Mike Tomlin liked him. Yeah. Mike Tomlin has liked Justin Fields.
I also think Kenny Pickett, if you had to choose a coach to learn from, Nick Sirianni or Mike Tomlin, who are you choosing? I personally am choosing Mike Tomlin because I think Nick Sirianni has a big fucking ego. Yeah. And he likes...
Tandem.
They're tandeming up, bro.
What do you mean by that?
Because they both have big egos.
They both have big egos.
Oh, Philly, baby.
I mean, that's kind of Philly's culture sometimes, too, is big egos.
Well, dude, they could have a 12-1 team, and the Eagles fans will be booing them still. I
know, right?
As a Detroit fan, you're sitting there like, yeah, Lions are 2-9, baby. Woo! It just doesn't make sense to me. Right. So, it's just different areas, but yeah, it's odd. Learn from Russell Wilson, learn from Mike Tomlin as a Super Bowl coach. There's a reason why he's never had a losing season. Somehow he finds a way. I don't know how he does with some of these teams.
Somehow he finds a way.
Somehow he made the playoffs this year. I don't fucking know how to happen, but it just happens.
With Mason Rudolph and Kenny Pickett. So there you go.
Yeah. And that's the optimism you got to feel as a Steelers fan. Is that
now you got two guys.
Mike Tomlin was turning chicken shit into chicken salad. Now, he's not got like the most amazing salad, but he's got a decent salad.
He's got a salad with some croutons.
I think the loss of Dionte Johnson hurts more than what they got. I think Dionte Johnson was worth more because George Pickens is kind of your deep ball guy. Dionte Johnson was your slot receiver. So it kind of added that, versatility. now I look at the team and I see George Pickens and I see Pat Freiermuth, but Pat Freiermuth is going to be on the line the entire time. So I don't, unless they draft a guy or sign another guy.
They are going to draft a guy. They have to.
You think?
You would think
You think that, or they draft O-line. Because their O-line is trash.
It might just be a little bit of both.
So but there again, it's kind of a little bit exciting to be a Steelers fan now because you're not worried about your quarterback situation anymore. You're like, ooh, Justin Fields and Russell Wilson.
Yeah, we got a project and a veteran. So.
What's Tomlin cooking over there?
Yep. Yep.
So it's a little bit exciting to see what's going to happen there.
I'm rooting for Justin Fields because I really want to see him. I want to make the Bears look stupid. I'm sorry. I just want to see the Bears look stupid. So I guess that's maybe.
You want to see Caleb fail and Justin be bad?
Or
better?
I thought it was Justin's year. Honestly, I want the Bears trade away the first pick, get another first round pick, add 2 pieces to their O line with Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, fucking DeAndre Swift as a running back, and then you have Justin Fields, a mobile quarterback who has the potential to throw the ball. I was like, what the fuck are the Lions going to face this year? What the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
And then they pull this shit. It's just,
I mean, you can go like this fucking guy.
I
go from Marvin Harrison.
I thought the Bears should, once they traded for Keenan, I'm like, dude, just keep Fields. You have Swift. You have Komet. You have Everett. You have DJ Moore. You have the first pick, and you have the 9th pick. Pick Marvin Harrison, make the most stacked receiving core you've ever seen in your life, and just let Fields improve. Like
you also could have theoretically, because the other two with the Patriots and the Commanders, you could have pinned them against each other. You could have been which one wants Caleb?
Yeah,
we're giving away. You could go get Caleb. Then you move back.
Like
and
they did the year previous with Bryce Young.
Yep.
You could have just had a fire sale, and now you got the first round pick again next year.
Pick like a guy like Jaden McDaniels.
Well, you could have. What I'm saying is that you could have went. Give it. Let's say Washington trades up. Patriots are still 2. You're sorry. Let's say
Washington's 2, Patriots 3.
Well, yeah. So Patriots would most likely be the team to trade up. Unless...
Yeah, they jump. So they jump, right?
Yeah.
And then they get Caleb. Okay. Commanders aren't going to take Harrison. You get May, and then the Harrison happens, and you got capital. Because I mean, even if you're moving back 2 spots, you're gonna have to get capital in a quarterback-heavy draft.
Yeah.
When there is a guy that is the guy in the draft, whether you think he is or not, he's going to go number 1.
Yeah.
The betting odds are gonna be minus 100,000.
Right.
You're not gonna get plus money on betting Caleb Williams being the number 1 overall pick. So with that being said. There's a lot of ways they could have went. They're going this avenue. They're obviously taking Caleb.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe something crazy happens. Maybe they like someone over Caleb.
Don't let Marvin fall to 9. Tell you that. Don't let him fall.
I don't think he will.
The Bears.
Yep.
Oh yeah. If somehow that happens, I'm going to question the integrity of the NFL.
Yeah.
Especially as a Lions fan. I do not. I've already had to watch Marvin Harrison play against the fucking Wolverines for however many years now.
Yeah.
I don't want to keep fucking watching them. I want to watch them in 4 years when we have to play the fucking Texans. Whatever.
Right.
Whatever team in the AFC.
Yeah.
So I mean, Wolverines won against them, but it's still It's scary to see them. We already have to go up against Justin Jefferson, which isn't fun to go.
No.
You know you're going to have
Justin Jefferson, Keenan, DJ Moore. Jordan Addison, even you can throw in there.
Yeah.
You got Christian Watson, you got Jaden Reed, Romeo Dobbs. These are all big physical receivers that get it done.
Yeah. And now we're going to see the NFC North again shaken up with additional wide receivers, but also 2 new quarterbacks will be in play. Likely 2 rookie quarterbacks will be in the NFC North, so that'll be something to watch. Yeah. Maybe it's something that holds them back because of the experience, or maybe there's
a Stroud story in one of these guys,
right.
So.
Yeah.
Right. But I guess moving on to, Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald, possibly, the best defensive lineman ever. There's seriously a possibility this man is the best. The guy got his ring. The guy now really, he got his,
Definitely arguably the best D tackle.
Right.
Ever,
And, you're looking at this, and now he ends his storied career. The Rams now... how much does it affect them too? This team made the playoffs last year. They kind of squeaked in, all things considered, in a weaker NFC. If they're in the AFC, definitely not making it.
Right.
So it's just what do you guys think about that departure? I mean, what do you think it affects the Rams?
Well, my question is, do they know about it in the behind the scenes? I feel like, or was it because the Rams have added pieces in the offseason. You know, they've added defense pieces, they've added offensive pieces. So my question was, and there was some D tackles up for grabs this year in the free agency.
Yeah.
So my question was, did Aaron Donald kind of wait to see what happened, or did he just choose to do this and not really notify the Rams in a timely manner?
You would think that before, like, you would think he had to notify them, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's not like a freak thing that you just randomly do.
Well, yeah, but like, look at the Jason Kelce retirement. He did it before the season opened, and now, you know, he always says, "Well, the team's looking really good. I might have to retire," you know, on his podcast. But so it's one of the things where it's like,
could you imagine Kelsey still there with Saquon though? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but the thing with if Kelsey's there, they're just doing more tush pushes. If Kelsey's out, you know, Kelsey's the guy who does the tush push.
Well, another thing that I think with them signing Saquon is whether you have Kelsey or not, and your tush push is 99% effective. Jalen Hurts is a young franchise QB. That puts a lot of pressure on him to do that every time. Getting Saquon, you can get a guy where you're like, okay, he's basically another 99%. Run him through the middle on the 1 yard line. You're gonna probably get a touchdown. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's done that on the Giants.
I'm sure like he's going to take away not all the tush push touches because it's so effective, but he's probably gonna dwindle down those plays from them just because of his talent and what he can do for them.
Well, and maybe the Eagles are also thinking about, are the NFL officials, you know, league, you know, board, going to take away the tush push, because it has been talked about before. So maybe the Eagles are thinking, well, if they take it away, we got Saquon now.
We got Saquon, and he's bigger than Swift. You know, Swift is a 5'9" running back. Yeah. You know, running and the 1 yard line, everybody is diving and killing in the middle. You know, so
and Swift is supposed to be a skilled running back, not the, you know,
power
anvil
guy.
and hammer type of guy. You know, he's not supposed to be your one. There's a reason why when he was playing for the Lions, we had Jamal Williams on the 1 yard line going through, because we thought he was expendable. You know, and DeAndre Swift was supposed to be our guy, where we'd be on our 25 yard line. Well, he gets 25 yards like that. You know? That's what we expect from him, and he did that sometimes for the Eagles.
Yeah.
So, I think it's great for Saquon personally, because the Giants, they've had Saquon for multiple years, and yes, was he injured for a couple of years, whatever. But they've had opportunities to build around him. They've had opportunities to enhance.
They've had opportunities not to offer Daniel Jones $40 million, but they failed on that as well.
Yeah, Daniel Football Jones.
You're building on Saquon is like falling into the hole. So.
Yeah, we're throwing dimes.
And like then you look at the Giants offseason moves. They had Darren Waller as their only deep
basically
threat.
Deep threat receiving.
They're sending Darren Waller down the fucking sideline as a tight end. I was sitting there like, what the fuck am I watching?
Oh yeah, he'd line out wide all the time.
This motherfucker is supposed to be a tight end, not a deep slot wide receiver. What the fuck? I didn't know we had fucking Garrett Wilson on the Giants now. What the fuck?
I know. That's such a. I'm glad. I mean, their defense is gonna be fire, but geez, dude.
Oh yeah, that D line is.
That's a struggle.
Scary.
Like, you don't have Mike Tomlin, so like you're dog water. So you know,
I mean, I still like Daboll. I think Daboll's a good coach. I think the GM is kind of what's screwing him over. I think that because
any guy who thinks that giving $160 million to Darren Jones, I don't know. I think everyone thought it was stupid at the time too. But anyways.
And I think you see Daboll kind of pissed, like on the sidelines, just yelling at Daniel Jones. What the fuck are you doing? Why are you throwing it there? He wasn't wide open.
I know the fans really like DeVito though, and DeVito, held them through a little bit. So.
Well, yeah, because it just became a massive meme. That's
I mean, he probably his stats are probably I don't know his stats off the top of my head, but they're probably better than Kenny Pickett's.
Well, and then they also
I'm sure they are.
What was that backup before Danny DeVito that got injured? I don't remember.
Was it Tyrod Taylor? Was he on their team?
Yeah, that's Tyrod Taylor.
He moved now, but
Tyrod Taylor was actually pretty good as a backup.
Yeah, he's not a bad backup either. He's just older.
Sucks that he played in MetLife, which is just a terrible feeling. That's why I also feel bad for Aaron Rodgers because he chose to go play for the worst field in all fucking NFL history. So
They caught Tracy Walker, and now Tracy Walker's not a Lion.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
sucks to suck, but
Okay. But I guess really for where we started at this, the Rams, where do you guys think like this? Do you think they're playoff contenders this year? Do you think that they added Jonah Jackson? I mean, their line is looking. They re-signed their other guard. They're looking very strong with the offensive line. They still have Cooper Kupp. They have Puka Nacua. They look Matthew Stafford. I mean, doesn't look like he's slowing down. So
I
Slinging out there, dude.
I will personally never bet against Matthew Stafford. He pushed some terrible Lions teams into the playoffs. You know, does that mean they're gonna make a playoff run? I don't know. That's questionable. It also depends on how Cooper Kupp is feeling because last year did not look the same as Cooper Kupp before, in my opinion. You know.
Yeah, but they didn't need it with
Well,
Puka. They
yeah.
just
Somehow
like,
they
here's
found
this
Puka
diamond.
Nacua in fucking the 6th round. Pricks.
Yeah.
It's almost like, well, I mean, I guess I can't be mad. We found Amon-Ra in the 4th round.
We found
so.
Amon-Ra in 4th. Puka was in the 5th. Yep. I think if their O-line is healthy, it's just going to come down to games. It's just going to come down to shootout games because without Aaron Donald, like, yeah, you're signing other guys, but I don't know if their signings were that huge compared to an Aaron Donald, you know?
Yeah.
So you're missing that like,
defensive
there's
pillar.
nothing that goes to the middle because there's Aaron Donald, right?
Yeah.
right.
So
Actually, your middle is going the other way towards the quarterback.
Yeah,
Down,
yeah.
Even with 2 guys holding them back.
if they make the playoffs, they probably will not win a lot of games because of their defense like that. The playoffs require defense. We've seen it with the Lions. That game, that 49ers game, has still left a sour taste in my mouth because, dang it, bro, we were just winning, and then we were like, we just failed. I mean, the offense stalled as well, but the defense still needs to, like, make crucial stops at times as well. And, like, even the, like,
But like losing Jalen Ramsey a couple of years ago, yes, they traded him. They didn't get a lot. I mean, they didn't get a lot for him for an All-Pro cornerback.
Yeah.
But with that being said, I mean, this Rams team is probably gonna be in shootouts every week.
Every week, bro. If their line is healthy, yeah, they're just gonna be throwing down the field. Here comes the other team coming down the field.
And maybe that is a campaign for Matthew Stafford to win MVP. If he's putting up crazy stats.
Yeah.
If he's forced to put up
I could see
30
like
plus
that.
points a game to try to compete, and he's he gets upwards 40 touchdowns. He's got to be in consideration.
Yeah.
If they sneak in the playoffs, if they're over 500, you got to think about giving it to him.
Yeah. Well, how much better is Puka gonna get? Like, yeah, Cooper Kupp may be slowing down, but Puka looks like he could be the next Cooper Kupp, bro. Like, what the heck? Like, he looks that good.
We're forgetting Kyron Williams too.
Yeah.
Yes, he had a breakout year.
What a stud!
Yep.
You know, completely unexpected. Helped my fantasy teams a lot. Let me just say that because I got them. But God, just out of the woodwork, him and Puka, best rookie team of the year. The Rams were, in my opinion. I mean, the Lions make a case, but I think the Rams won it because also they had a rookie defensive tackle next to Aaron Donald who was doing very well. Now, you can say whatever you want about Aaron Donald, enhancing him, blah, blah, but he had a good, you can be a rookie and have Aaron Donald next to you and still play bad.
And maybe there's some mentorship there.
And
too.
that was also part of them, like, having half their team gone and needing half their team to be rookies. So, I mean, that's another dime that what is his name, though? I like that you brought that guy up, though, because I did forget about him. He's a good player.
Yeah. And
He's
then
a good player.
They also drafted a cornerback, too. I don't remember. I'm terrible with names, especially on the defensive side. But, they have rookies. They have some more experience going into next year. Yeah. And I trust in their GM to find diamonds, I mean, he's proven it over and over again, that same GM, went and got Cooper Kupp, got Puka Nacua, got Kyron Williams, got this D tackle, got I think he was the same guy who got Aaron Donald. This GM has been around a while. So it's, I trust in him just how I trust in Brad Holmes.
Yeah, right.
I trust that he is going to find the diamond in the rough.
Right. And I mean, now thinking about Stafford more too. Stafford, if you can get him in the play action, he is a very good play action quarterback. Getting him more time along with this O-line is going to add another element to him. these wide receivers are already hard enough to guard, but if you have a strong run game with a good offensive line and Kyron Williams, then when the play action comes after multiple decent runs, you're starting to have to stop and respect the run game. Now that opens up the field for Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp, and it makes Matthew Stafford's job a lot easier.
Yeah.
Well, and Matthew Stafford has historically always had a long distance arm, and I like what the Rams have done. They've shortened it up to make his longevity bigger because obviously if you're having to throw 50, 60-yard bombs, your arm's feeling it after a while. With the Lions, he pretty much did that every game, because Megatron, go down deep against 3 guys.
Stop you, I'm sending it.
It's, but that's what you had to do to win then. It's whatever. And was he really against it? No, because obviously it shows his capability. But I like what they've done because it allows him to play in the league longer. It allows him to really be more of a playmaker than what he was on the Lions.
Yeah.
And it's kind of another versatility that you get to see on Matthew Stafford that you didn't ever get to see on the Lions. And it's nice to see.
Right.
That D tackle for the Rams, by the way, that's Kobe Turner.
Right,
I wanted to remember his name because
he is very good.
Yes, he is good. I like that you brought him. I totally forgot about him, but he was a good duo with Aaron Donald.
Yeah, and I think they're going to be really relying on him to really kind of almost take over that Aaron Donald role. It's huge, massive shoes to fill, but if he can even fill him halfway,
well, to be a good D tackle, yes, he will. He probably will.
Well, Aaron Donald, we're arguably top of the list. You're hoping he's halfway there. Going into his second year. His sophomore year.
How do his stats look if he doesn't have the Aaron Donald push to help him out as well?
That's
does he get double teamed because they're like, oh, this guy's kind of good. And they don't got Donald, so might as well look at this guy.
Well, that's the question you're going to be asking yourself this year.
We'll see how he does.
Right. Well, I guess also looking at the NFC North still, the Vikings, they traded up, talking about some more offseason moves, they traded up and they got the number 23 pick, a 7th rounder, and the number 232nd pick. Man, I am butchering this. The Texans get a 2nd round pick and the 42 pick, and then they also get a future 2nd in 2025, and they get a 6th with the number 188th pick. First, I guess, what do you think about the trade? What do you guys who do you think is the winner? I mean, of course, you gotta think. I mean, later on, once these picks are in the league a couple of years, but just on paper,
then you can really assess, who the winner is.
It's hard to say who the winner is right now. I mean, pick swaps, you can't really judge who won, who lost. The only thing I will say is the Texans. It looks like they're looking to the future for these picks, and that is a good thing you want to see, especially as a Texans fan, to where they had, with Watt, with J.J. Watt, they had that nice stretch, and then fucking, everything fell apart, and they had no draft picks. So
they looked really bad for a minute, and then one season, and they're like, whoa, they're here.
And last year, they spent picks to get C.J. Stroud and Will Anderson Jr. And now they're building those draft picks back up, which is what you want to see. You don't want to see your team go all in 3 years of drafts, and then you have a stud that you could have got in 5 years from now and be like, well, we traded that pick 4 years ago. Sucks to suck, That's just what you like to see. And for the Vikings, it almost looks like they're buying in now. They have Justin Jefferson. They got Aaron Jones. They still have a decent defense. Looking for a quarterback. Looking for some more O-line additions. They have Jordan Addison, which, by the way, underrated rookie. In my opinion, he got overshadowed by Puka Nacua, overshadowed by Tank Dell, and rightfully so. Those players deserve what they got. But for the team he was on, who was throwing to him, because he didn't have Kirk Cousins all year. He didn't have C.J. Stroud throwing to him.
Nick Mullins.
Yeah, Nick Mullins.
I thought you were gonna bring up your fantasy team, by the way, when you brought up Jordan Addison.
No,
I was laughing. But anyways, continue. Sorry.
So it's one of them things where the Vikings still have some pieces to work around. They still have some pieces to build around. Kevin O'Connell, I think, is still a good coach. He still has to improve a couple things. Winning in the playoffs, stuff like that. But there still is time. There still is hope, and it looks like they're trying to buy in a little bit more now than for later with this pick swap.
Yeah. This looks like a win-win trade to me.
Yeah.
Because Vikings are getting more first-round talent for their quarterback-less team with Jefferson on it, with Addison on it. You know, they could go O-line, they could go defense with these first-round picks, along with the QB. And the Texans are like stacked now. Basically, they look like it. Tank Dell is a monster. Nico Collins is a monster, and you got
Joe Mixon as running
back. You got
back
Joe
now.
Mixon now. Yes, that's another. It's just so much stuff that happened.
They
It's hard to
added
remember.
Daniel Hunter to
Yes.
go along with
They
Will
added
Anderson.
Daniel Hunter.
I will say they got rid of Malik Collins, which I thought was a little bit questionable. I thought maybe because he's older that they were trying to go for more draft picks because they did trade away some draft picks to get Will Anderson Jr. last year. But then
like
again,
you said, they're trying to build these back up. Like, yes, you're getting rid of that first. We're getting 2 seconds, which is a great place to be picking players at. We've seen from Brad Holmes. We've seen from other DMs. Not every good player is going to be in the first round. We've seen multiple busts in the first round and multiple great players out of the second round.
Mm-hmm.
Great players in the third round, great players in the fourth round. But second round is a really good spot to be picking at with a team that's looking to set up right now. Like, yes, the Vikings maybe could try to win now, but you really need that QB that you're going to find to be that guy.
Well,
if you're going to pick a QB and he's going to be a Mac Jones story, oh no. This is not going to be fun for you. Zach, no, not going to be fun at all for them. But you get another first. So,
well, see, what I think of with the Vikings pick. So now they have the 11th and 23rd. With the 11th, because realistically, you have your Chicago Bears, Washington Commanders, New England Patriots. They're going to take the first 3 quarterbacks, I feel like. That's just what's predicted. That's what I feel like, because all those teams are kind of missing their quarterback. Patriots, you could argue, are going to choose whatever because they're really just restarting all over again. But most of the time when you start a rebuild, you choose a quarterback. That's what most GMs do. Mm-hmm. But then after that, you got these teams. You know, you got the Chargers, you got the Cardinals, you got, your Broncos. They have, not the Broncos, but the Cardinals and the, I forget what I said, but
the Chargers. The Chargers are after the Cardinals.
They have quarterbacks. They don't need to draft a quarterback.
Yeah.
So then you have that second tier of quarterbacks in the draft pool, which a lot of people are saying is Penix, McCarthy, and Bo Nix.
Yep.
Vikings.
Let's throw Joe Milton in there too, because he's been looking good. His draft combine was good.
Joe Milton too, but I think out of those 4, that's your second tier. I think J.J. McCarthy is the top of that tier. That's what I think personally. I could be a little bit biased, Wolverines fan. I don't care. He's a winning player. He's got the arm talent. He's got the mobility. He's got the winning attitude that you want. And he is not an egotistical guy. He understands how the game should be played. And he learned from Jim Harbaugh, which, as we just saw, won a natty, now going to coach Justin Herbert. So it's very, I think what the Vikings are trying to do here with the 11th pick, they get their choice of a quarterback, whichever one they want. Then with that 23rd, I feel like because they lost Daniel Hunter and they add some pieces back, to the defense, but the defense isn't, oh my God,
Right.
I feel like they could potentially add something to be that centerpiece for the D line again. Because Daniel Hunter was that. Mm-hmm. And so you're trying to rebuild that because, you're looking at your team. They were kind of in a weird spot because they had probably, like, a good chunk of their team was old and a good chunk of their team was young.
Who is their tight end for the Vikings?
Hockenson.
Oh, yeah.
Hockenson.
I was like, I could not think of that.
So that threw me off.
I forget about him, and he's actually really good. Yeah.
But so that's kind of where I'm at. I feel like
quarterback, like somebody that like JJ who can run a system. You got the talent there for him.
But then again, I don't know the ranks of the Vikings O-line, so I don't know what exactly they lost and what they gained in the O-line perspective. So I can't really comment if they need to go get an O-line, like I say I can with the Bears and stuff like that. But the thing is that their defense, they lost defensive guys on the team that really...
Daniil was huge.
Huge guys on their defense. So I feel like they're looking at that, what they lost, they're chunking it up, and they're looking at like, we lost Daniil Hunter, but we wanted to do that because he was getting up there in age. He comparing him to Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson is still younger, and so you want to build for Justin Jefferson. You want to build for Justin Jefferson to be on your team for a long time. And Daniil Hunter is not going to be there as long as
as long as Justin Jefferson.
Right, and by all means, Danielle Hunter is a great edge rusher, but Justin Jefferson is the best receiver of this generation. So you build around that guy.
And
yeah.
Danielle Hunter is looking to win now, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, and Will Anderson, Danielle Hunter, dude.
Well, and the Texans proved they were a playoff team last year.
That number 2 overall pick, Will Anderson, and now you got Danielle Hunter with him.
Yeah, it's pretty scary. Good thing we are in the AFC South.
They made playoffs, so we will see them again at some point.
Well, yeah, I think Texans playoff team this year. I think
yes.
Depending on how
Tank Dow will be back.
I think depending on how their secondary play in the defense could be a conference championship team.
Yeah. They
I'm
could push
saying
for
that
it. They could push for
very
it.
early without seeing any preseason
Right,
or anything
right.
like that. But I am very confident in CJ Stroud. I am very confident in Nico Collins and Tank Dell. I'm confident in Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon has been running behind trash his entire fucking career. And so I'm confident in the coach. I'm confident in the GM. I'm confident in the city of Houston because they are football fans. They're tired of hearing about the fucking Cowboys. They want to hear about the Texans.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's an exciting time, and it's cool to see that happening for arguably another poverty franchise like the Lions.
They were. Davis Mills was their number 1, and that's what they were trying. But that was rough there.
That's why I also
they went from the worst team in Madden to not like a good team.
And that's why I like seeing the Cleveland Browns do well because they've been a poverty franchise. I like seeing these teams.
Yeah.
I hate hearing about the fucking Cowboys because they're America's team. Fuck off. Nobody cares. Everybody hates the Cowboys. Let's be honest.
They're America's disappointment. Because guess what? The Lions have more playoff wins in the last 20 years.
Yeah, you're not wrong. So it's cool to see the teams like the Texans doing well.
Yes, I think that's cool too. Going from a bottom team like that. Yeah. You know who's become the new Bears, Texans is the Panthers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They're the
Panthers have been that for the. Look at what they traded. Look, they got rid of CMC. What they get for him? I don't even know. They traded it. Well, yeah. That's what you have to compare it to.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when the Seahawks traded away Russell Wilson, they got what's the cornerback's name?
The cornerback or quarterback?
Cornerback. What's his? I don't remember.
Tariq Woolen.
Tariq Woolen.
Yes.
Great player,
Right.
They got him. Yep. They got another cornerback last year. They added pieces.
Oh, Devon Witherspoon.
That wasn't even their pick. I forgot.
They got Kenneth Walker. They got all these guys for Russell Wilson.
DK, Tyler Lockett.
Now compare that to what the Panthers traded away CMC. What'd they get? Name a player.
Well, and a lot of these trades, you'll see, it's oh, well, yeah, we got a second and a third. I don't remember exactly the package for McCaffrey, but that sounds fine on paper. But then if you put it to a name and your second and third is one of it's Levi Onwuzurike, you're not feeling so good about your second anymore.
Yeah.
You thought was
going
to be a guy.
Execute in the draft, just like
Yep.
Brian Burns.
Yep.
They traded him for shit.
I think I talked about that a little bit in the other one about how that's a huge fumble for the Panthers. You gave up 2 first-round picks to go 2 and 15. That is terrible. That is terrible. You would really love those picks right now, and you would really love to probably not trade for Bryce Young from the Bears and let the Bears have fun with whatever they did with that. But you gave a bunch of crap to get the first pick, and now you're really. You gave up this year's pick too, and you have the first pick.
Yeah. Well, but also, but if you're looking at it from a Panthers point, so if you don't draft a quarterback last year, you're probably not going to do well last year. No matter preseason last year, before even drafting Bryce Young, before getting all those guys. So you're thinking, and Caleb Williams, Bryce Young is going first last year. Everybody knew that. Caleb Williams is going first this year.
Well, Bryce Young didn't have to go first. That was the consensus, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you could have picked Stroud at that number 1 position. And whether or not he does as well as he did, he probably is a little bit better. You probably get a little more wins than 2 wins. I'm not going to lie.
3.
You probably do. But with that, you need receivers for that QB as well.
It was a coin toss. a coin toss
There you
between
go, tossing the
C.J.
coin.
Stroud and Bryce Young to see who would go first, to see who would play better. And I think C.J. Stroud arguably went to the better team, to the better coach team, better GM team, better overall team. The Panthers, their owner is super weird too. He's so hands-on, and I don't know that I like it. You know, like Sheila Ford,
Right.
she's hands-on, but, you know, she says to Brad Holmes,
She's hands-on with her staff, and then she lets her staff,
do their
Brad
jobs.
Holmes, Dan Campbell, do their thing.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
yeah, it's very odd time to be the Panthers, and I would hate to be a Panthers fan right now.
You've taken L after L after L, and it's a
I mean,
long
you
road
had-
ahead, and you're gonna have to suffer. And hopefully Bryce Young improves your team. You know,
Just
hopefully.
look back at nice old Cam Newton highlights.
Yeah, just keep watching Cam
Just
Newton
keep
highlights.
watching. Check
Dude,
out his
dude,
podcast. you
Watch
know.
CMC highlights, you know, become a 49ers fan, you know, you
Start-
have an
yeah.
avenue to become a 49ers fan. Just find some way off, you know.
Find the podcast to watch after this
Well-
podcast with Cam's podcast. But yeah, I mean,
Stick through. Because we got Pistons teams being bad. We were bad.
It's gonna be
Lions have been
rewarding.
bad.
it'll be rewarding when it's done.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, there's no better feeling to be a Lions fan than right now. Especially the guys who's been around for 50 years, us around 20 years. It's
Right.
okay, 20 years of age, so you're more conscious years, maybe 15, but still, we're talking
15
about
years is a lot.
15 years of watching, some struggle. It sucks. But there's a light at the end of the tunnel. It's going to change. So maybe does that mean your owner's selling the team? Maybe that might be that might have to happen. Or maybe eventually he learns to be more hands off. Whatever the thing is, Bryce Young isn't as bad of a quarterback
No,
as he's been
I
labeled.
don't think he is either.
And I think that your team has optimism and needs to, obviously, reroute. The train is derailed. We need to get back on the train tracks, and we need to fix this so we can get to our destination. If we don't, we're fucked.
You need to find somebody who's not going to retire to throw the ball to. That's what you need to do, first of all. Like, you can't just have Thielen, who's old as dirt, who apparently is just putting up crazy numbers for you.
They got Dionte Johnson now. I think what they need to do.
Well, yes, they do now,
They
yes.
get absolutely wrecked in the trenches. You know, they're 32nd overall as a O-line. They're 32nd overall as a D-line. Their secondary is trash, but you can't even say anything about it.
You have, like,
if
one O-lineman in Okeem Ekwonu, and I can't name anybody else in O-line. Like,
I can't name anybody on their... Oh, Brian Burns is the only guy I can name on their D-line, you know, and now he's gone.
Derek Brown, but yeah.
Yeah, Derek Brown.
That's Derek Brown.
Derek
yes.
Brown,
Yeah,
yes.
but it's... So, you know, you're not winning in the trenches. And my biggest belief is you have to win the trenches. You have to protect your quarterback.
Right.
Bryce Young is not that big of a guy. And he's never been a mobile quarterback. He's been a guy who is going to throw the ball. You know, that's why he was in Alabama. That's why you watched him when you watched him win the Natties.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's just why, as a GM and as an owner, you have to build for what you want. And you went and got Bryce Young. You wanted him. So you have to build for him. And if they don't draft O-line this year, I'm seriously going to be questioning what their game plan is.
Well, they don't have a pick till the second round, big dog.
They traded all their picks to go get Bryce.
You're going to get an O-lineman, but you're not getting an Olu Fashanu or Joe Alt to really bolster up that.
Hey, anything better than what they had last year.
You could probably
put
find a
capital
guy that
into
will
it.
be good, but it's not the top end guys. Like,
Well, yeah, but you're not going to get your, you're not going. Not every team is going to be a Lions, Eagles, or 49ers O-line.
You just need to be competent, especially with
You just need a middle of the pack O-line.
Well, and Bryce, yes, he's not exactly a. I think he's mobile, but he's not in the mobile that Lamar Jackson, Justin Fields, or he is a Patrick Mahomes mobile. He's a lateral. He's not
he's an improviser.
Yeah, he's going to improvise the play. He's going to buy time. He's not going to go.
He's not going to give you a 40-yard run like Lamar Jackson.
Yes,
but
he can go back and forth on the field. He's buying time to get wide receivers, but also you have to have a little bit more time to buy time.
Yeah.
Because if you're always buying time, there's a lot of things that's going wrong.
Yeah.
Well, guys, we ran this podcast a little long, but it was the first introduction of Bret to the podcast. Got a lot of wings intel, and now we got our wings fixed. Maybe we'll have to have him on. Maybe it'll be a consistent thing, or maybe it'll be every once in a while to talk about the wings, keep us informed, and that'd be great.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys.
By the way, Jimmy G to the Rams and Tyron Smith to the Jets. Cowboys get fucked.
Cowboys get fucked. That is on the note sheet. Yes, I made the note sheet. Fuck the Cowboys. Anyway, but anyways, guys, yeah. So anyways, if you like this podcast, like this video, hit that like button. If you're new to me and my channel and this content, consider hitting the subscribe button, following the podcast, hitting notifications on the podcast so you know when a new one comes out. With that being said, if you want more of me and my content, it's down below in the description. All those links are there. And yeah, with that being said, if these guys ever make content, maybe we'll put those on there. But with that being said, hope you guys have a great day. Stay safe and peace.
Peace.